thank you very much to all of you to being here today. And it's a pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dawne Williams. She is the former coordinator of North America and the Caribbean, and current coordinator of North America and the Caribbean for BPW International. She is a former of the largest bank in Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, and currently decision manager for the Bank of Nevis. A remarkable leader, and it's my pleasure to welcome Dawne. Thank you for being our speaker. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yasmin. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to share with you again today as we look at transformational leadership. For today's session, I call it my roadmap. We'll look at what transformational leadership is, the traits and characteristics of transformational leaders, the benefits of transformational leadership, steps on becoming a transformational leader, and then I'll summarize at the end. So let's start. Transformational leadership. The word transformational, as we know, refers to that ability to ignite major change or improvement. Leadership is really the ability to influence and guide others. So then, transformational leadership, therefore, is that leadership style that ignites major change or improvement. And it's done by using the requisite knowledge and skills to guide, inspire, and influence others to make positive changes. Let's look at some of those traits that as transformational leaders, we must possess. It's really idealized influence. So you must be purpose-driven. You must be a role model. You must walk that talk and lead by example. Too many of our leaders say one thing, but do the other. A transformational leader walks the talk and leads by example. Secondly, they're inspirational motivators. So they inspire persons to take action. They are just the way they do what they do is an inspiration and a motivation to others. They have individualized consideration. So they're emotionally intelligent. They're clicking to people's emotions. They are people-driven and therefore have a genuine concern for the need of their team members. No one is left behind. They pick up on the emotions, they know when things are good, they know when things are bad, and they protect their space. But they get involved and build relationships. They take a holistic approach to leadership, and they make decisions based on well-informed facts. It's not hearsay, it's not what I feel. They gather the information required to make well-informed decisions. They have intellectual stimulation, and they can do so because they are continuous learners. The last degree is only as good as the last degree. It's continuous learning. So they keep on the cutting edge of what's happening, which makes them knowledgeable. They're also skillful, and they're innovative thinkers. They are not thinkers who just think inside the box. They are an out-of-the-box thinker who challenges and not afraid to challenge the status quo once it can be substantiated. So they don't just challenge for challenging's sake, but they challenge once they can substantiate why they challenge. And they also challenge their team members to let their creative juices flow and be innovative. A transformational leader doesn't feel like I'm the only one who could get things done around here. A transformational leader knows that they get things done through the team. So they challenge the team, to be their best. And then they reward success. Because if you are a transformational leader, you will lead a successful organization. But because you haven't done it alone, whatever you reap, you also reward everyone with that success. So, summarize traits of a transformational leader. They are purpose-driven, they are a role model, and they walk the talk. They are inspiring and they inspire followers. They are purpose-driven. They have a genuine concern for the needs of followers, and they're innovative. And they challenge followers to also be innovative and creative. Now, let us look at the characteristics of transformational leaders. First, they must be adaptable. Change is constant, but as a transformational leader, you adapt to the change. You're proactive. You don't wait until things have happened to react. You're always looking at what's the next best thing to do. And so you take a proactive approach. You're a visionary. Transformational leaders are visionaries. They have effortlessly good gestures because they always have good intent. They speak measurably, but yet know when their voices project. The people behind them don't have to say, speak up, we can't hear you, because they have the confidence and the body language draws attention. All questions asked are answered with mutual respect. Transformational leaders think that everybody's question is worthy, and they respect each question and answer with mutual respect. They constantly struggle to live their characteristics in every interaction, and this separates the organizations led by developing leaders and really just normal leaders. A transformational leader can be recognized wherever they are, because these leaders in their every interaction exude leadership. Their words, their actions, and their attitudes exude self-confidence, kindness, openness, and reasonableness. They have very many effective leadership skills that will inspire the future of education and industry. Transformational leaders are always breeding transformational leaders. They encourage them to study, they encourage them to read, they encourage them to do continuous learning, because they are bringing the next set, or they're raising the next set of transformational leaders. And transformational leaders have the ability to make difficult decisions. As a leader, there will always be times when you have to make that difficult decision. Transformational leaders do this well. And they do this well because they do it based on facts and knowledge, not on gut feeling. Transformational leaders know how to check their egos. They keep their egos in check. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about the team. It's about everybody doing well. They show how to create and prepare without the guidance of others and work together for everyone's benefit. Most importantly, they can keep an eye on the organization's most important task. So they're not self-centered. Transformational leaders think organizational wide. They don't think about their own personal interests. So their most important task is keeping an eye on the organization's most important task. Internal motivation and management, and willing and know-how to take the right risks. No matter what we do in life, we'll always have risks. However, transformational leaders know how to take the right risks that would lead to a positive outcome. There are many benefits of transformational leadership. It fosters longevity, retention, service excellence, and total satisfaction. It also promotes engaged, motivated, inspired, and dedicated teammates. Everybody's happy because everybody within your team is living a life of purpose and they feel a part of something good. It creates an environment where change thrives and grows to produce sustainability. And the organization's vision and mission are realized because everyone within your team as a transformational leader understands the vision and the mission of the organization of which they are part. And they work in tandem to realize this vision and mission. Because in transformational leadership ignites enthusiasm. Everybody is enthused about what they do, and that naturally inspires growth and sustainability. So there are certain steps that must be taken for you to become a transformational leader. And here are some of them. First, you must set high ethical standards and engender a positive environment. Having set those high ethical standards, you need to share those ethical values and therefore pave the way for moral development, because people will be coming from different moral persuasions. But if you have a set of ethical values and you are running an organization, everyone within that organization must share those same values, or else they won't be living the same purpose that you are living. Model the behavior you expect and inspire your teammates. So if you expect a certain behavior, you yourself must have that type of behavior. You know, behavior breeds behavior. So if you model the behavior you expect, you will inspire your teammates to do likewise. Treat each team member as an individual. We are all different, so we also need to value the diversity within the team and provide individual support by attending to the needs of every team member. Yes, it's a hard task, but doable, and it's accomplished over time. Sometimes you have to mentor, you have to coach, you have to maybe line them up with other mentors, other coaches, depending on what gap you have, you see within that team member. The goals that you set must be challenging and focus attention on boosting the motivation of employees. A demotivated team will not work in your best interest. And a demotivated team is demoted because you yourself caused that demotivation. So as a transformational leader, you have to ensure that you build a motivated team. Use a persuasive rather than a directive approach. Build a strong relationship with your team and promote harmony. Some leaders promote divide and rule. A transformational leader promotes harmony. Motivate your teammates to see the big picture and look beyond self-interest. Yes, we all want to know what's in it for me. But what's in it for me is only that self-interest. It's beyond that. What's in it for the organization? So what do I bring that I can get and then give more for the wider organization? So who are transformational leaders and what makes them stand out? Transformational leaders establish strong relationships. Very early in your relationships, you have to start breaking down that Johari window. You need to understand your teammates, what makes them tick. So once you do that, you start building these relationships, strong relationships. Serve as ideal influence. They look to you to make that decision or help them to make that decision. So you influence their every action. Helps bring enthusiasm and motivation into being. They encourage learning and stimulate creativity. And this reduces employee turnover. And in organizations, membership turnover, because everybody want to be a part of something good. A post-COVID era will need transformational leaders. We are going through a period of change and every day brings something new. Transformational leaders are who will take this world forward, leading the change, motivating, breaching resistance, having a flexible leadership style, understanding what will work when, persuasion, engagement, and finally, influence. Thanks so much for your time. And there we've had it for transformational leadership. I'll stop at this time and turn it over to Anne.
Let's try that again. Dawne, thank you so much, and lots of silent clapping going on through the house. So thank you very much for that thought-provoking presentation. In a moment, we're going to allow any or all of you to jump in with your comments, your questions, your examples, your what ifs, your why nots. This is, of course, we're all works in progress, so this is maybe an ideal model. But before I invite you to join in, I want to ask you something, Dawne. I know that this is a model to which you aspire and try to follow, and you are a very good example of this. Can you give us one example from either your working life or your BPW life in which you feel that you have exhibited transformational leadership?
Okay, thanks, Anne, and thanks everyone for listening. I will give an example from my BPW life, because I think on this call today we have persons who can attest to this. When I returned home, having worked 25 years outside of St. Kitts, I decided to start my own business. In so doing, there was a young lady who at the time worked at the central bank who asked me to be her mentor because she'd worked with me in a previous life. And in going through that session with her, I realized she had no social life. And so I put on the table a number of clubs and organizations that she needed to become a part of, because it can't be all work and home. And the long and short is nothing worked until I said business and professional women. But at the time, St. Kitts had a business and professional women's club that was totally dormant for a number of years. But growing up, I knew of this organization and I knew who was the first president. So I visited her and I said to her, I'm home, I want to reignite this organization. And she was so happy. She brought the entire executive who was there at the time, and she gave me a set of books and papers, and the rest is history. I single-handedly together with Christine, because I call Christine, who's my cousin. I said, Christine, we're going to start this. So Christine, the young lady who I was mentoring, and I met on the patio of Miss Wall, who's still alive and who we admire and recognize a lot. And we started this whole BPW organization. And before you know it, we had like 80 something members. And, you know, we are still very active today. We don't have that many members anymore because of COVID and people have gone away, etc. But we are working on getting our numbers back. As a matter of fact, we are hoping on having a full federation by the end of this year. And steps are already in place to make that happen.
Great, thanks, Dawne. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Yasmin, to jump in next, but before I hand it over to you for your comments, anyone else who would like to make a comment, you just need to look for reactions in your toolbar, usually at the bottom of the screen, and one of those will be raise hand, and it also puts you in a queue so I can call on people in order. So just click on raise hand and I'll acknowledge you after this. But first of all, Yasmin.
Thank you very much. Well, Dawne, we talk about this important role in an organization as BPW, and we have to still look for this kind of leadership and share with all our members what we expect, not only from the top or the people in charge in our clubs or regional or national or international, how we as a member in a club need to behave. So this is the kind of excellence that we are looking in our members. And the success of an organization depends on this kind of roles in the future. We cannot allow just select our leaders because we are friends or because have a good looking. The ethics, the values that you mentioned are the main point that we need to look for the future of our organization. I think this is, thank you for these remarks and this excellent presentation, Dawne. So now we can proceed with the questions or.
Okay, thanks, Yasmin. So if those who have raised their hands will indulge me another moment, I want to refer you, Dawne, to a question for you in the comments. I think this is someone who can't actually use her audio at the moment. So from Faith, we have, how can we, and this is very salient, how can we as BPW members continue to demonstrate and encourage this model with the high levels of burnout post-COVID or even current COVID, we could say. So in the face of burnout, for any reason, how can we continue with a model such as this?
Yeah. And I do understand, and I take your point, Faith, but it comes from within. It's all about you and what you would like to achieve and what is your purpose in life. So for example, I personally, I've found COVID has made it easier for us to reach our members. And that is where you can do so virtually. And Faith, I don't know what your situation is, and maybe reaching your members virtually is not an easy thing to do. But one of the things I've found within my region is that we are able to meet more and do more since COVID, because we use virtual meetings. And like today, we ask people to sign on and come on, even if when they're speaking, to come on. So I would say you need to do more and do a lot more training and development. We are using this opportunity to do a lot of training and development. So for example, a session like this today, I am aware that Anne and Yasmin and presidents actually advertised this very widely. Sessions like these, people should jump on, because these are developmental sessions. These are things that help you. And Anne, and I want to compliment both Anne and Yasmin for putting these sessions on. I try my best to attend as many as possible, because they are actually learning and development sessions. So I would say in a COVID era, sessions such as these, sometimes it's just an hour, 30 minutes, you know, if we can get our people to commit to this time and really come to these meetings, they will benefit, and the burnout that we speak to will become almost like a pleasure to do. And trust me, I can tell you about burnout. If there's one person here who could tell you about burnout, it's me. But do I feel burnt out? No, because I think I'm living my life of purpose by doing the things I do. So I make the time to make it happen and share. And that will be my response to this question, Faith.
Thanks, Dawne. And as a psychologist, I would also add that we need to build in a lot of self-care for our leadership and for our members into our BPW clubs. So let's take care of each other during this time to hopefully avoid burnout. First up now we have Francesca. And again, everyone, if you want to be in the queue, look for the raise hand function down below under reactions in your toolbar. Francesca.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, Dawne, thank you for this wonderful presentation. And since I'm in Dawne's region, I would also like to thank you publicly for being a transformational leader, to be a role model for this region and really for BPW International. I met Dawne and Christine in Puerto Rico when they came to get the certificate to launch the club, and Bessie Hieronymus was the regional coordinator at that time. And it's been a pleasure to know both of you. So, you know, I was so happy when the first bullet you mentioned was something around being ethical. And I think that during this period of COVID, it's really important that we, and beyond, I mean, even before, you know, to know what we value as an individual. That's really where it begins. Knowing what we value. My first value for me is integrity. And when you know who you are and you live in your values, this model becomes who you are, really. And you do treat people in this way. So really knowing yourself, as you said, Dawne, and really knowing what you value is so very, very important. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you for being our RC, and thank you for taking it on for a second term. It's really so meaningful for us, and we need more people like you and Yasmin and all the others that are here today, you know, Eva, and all of us. We really need to stick together and, as Anne said, really, really support each other here and now. So thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Francesca. Next up, we have Diana. Diana, are you there? Okay, we'll circle back to her. We have a lot of leaders in this room, so I will also start calling on people just so you're prepared. Yes, just a moment. So if people, just a moment, Diana. So if people can just think about your own transformational leadership, I will also call on people. Diana?
Yes, I'm sorry, but I couldn't find the way to put my hand down, and I was concentrated on that when you called me. Thank you, Anne. Thank you for the floor. Well, we have had some discussions with Dawne in the past regarding leadership. I believe that there are only positive leaders. But she convinced me that it's not true. I mean, leaders, as she defined at the beginning, is those who lead, who inspire by example. But these examples can also be negative examples. I think that an organization such as ours can be boosted with positive leaders, such as Dawne, but it can also be destroyed by negative leadership. And this should be said, because if we want to support BPW, we need to understand that we, like Yasmin said, have to train to be leaders, each and one of us, of BPW, not only of our own lives and works and businesses, but for BPW. If we all look to become BPW leaders, then we will have an incredible organization and choose well our leaders, because there will only be good leaders to choose with the traits that Dawne gave us. She is absolutely right. I mean, without that, we are going to lose our BPW. This is how I see it. This is how I felt it for the last years, since I am a regional coordinator, and I'm very sad. So we need to fight for positive leadership. This is my opinion. Thank you. Thank you, Dawne, for being such a good leader, an inspiring one.
Thanks. And can I respond? Yes, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. And I totally agree with you. And I believe that BPW is at a crossroads, and we now have the opportunity to write the BPW script. Our BPW governance should have what the I would say role profile of its leadership should look like. So you say president, and you set out clear guidelines as to what you're looking for, and we go through a proper process. This thing about just picking someone because it's somebody's friend or it's because would not work. I've been in BPW, and I'm telling you, I am here because I think I can continue to be a voice for those who don't have a voice, especially women and girls. However, I don't know that currently this is what we are getting in BPW. And so I totally agree that we need to change the script, and how we choose our leaders must be different going forward. Thanks for that, Anne.
Thank you. Just a reminder, everyone, this is being recorded and will be posted online, available worldwide within the next 24 hours. Also, now let's circle back to our topic of transformational leadership. Marie-Claude?
Yes, thank you very much, Anne and Yasmin, and also Dawne, of course. I think it's very important to share. Communication is also very important. We also have to work as a team, and because when we are together, we're stronger. So it's very important that we consider the team, as you said, Dawne, because you cannot just take the decision on your own. Even if you are at the head, you have also to consult every member of your team. And this is very important. And I would insist really on transparency, governance, as you said. And I don't know if there is a code of conduct, but that's what I tried, and we worked when I was chair of the International Conference of NGOs. I tried to set up this kind of documents because they are very important to have a code of conduct. And for example, the role model and type like the leadership and transformational leadership. This is very important. I also wanted to say that I guess it's getting difficult with BPW when you have strong female personalities. And what do you do in this case? What are the solutions? How you also, I think, have to have the skills of mediation. How do you mediate when there is a conflict within the team? Thank you very much indeed. Very happy to be here.
Thanks, Mary.
Dawne, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, I would say that when it's always very difficult, because sometimes what people look like on paper and what they are in reality is very different. However, there are times that you know who's coming, because there has been traits that you pick up previously that tell you all is not well. But we tend to ignore things like that. And then that's why I said earlier, we need to take a holistic approach to what we do. So you don't look at a leader because they are the loudest in the room. You don't pick a leader because they seem to be the one with the most access to funds that you will need whilst you do what you have to do. You look for those ethical qualities and values that the person brings to the role. And I totally agree with you that a transformational leader can also mediate. They realize, and if you stay close to your team, you will know when things aren't going right. You will know when things aren't going right. And you intervene at that time. You nip it in the bud, is what I would say, Marie-Claude. But you're so correct, and I totally agree. But a transformational leader is always striving to strike that right balance to ensure that the team remains united.
Okay, thank you, Dawne. Now on to yet another transformational leader. We have many leaders in this room. Jo?
Hello, I'm picking up on the points that we've made previously, and it's something that we value within the UK, the intergenerational knowledge and stream of understanding that we have within the UK. And something that we've done to maintain that within COVID is we've used the Members Emergency Fund, and we have donated some laptop iPads to some members so they can stay in contact with us and they can engage within our Zoom sessions. And we have loaned them to them. They belong still to us, but we've set them up on a network so that they can still be involved. And I think that that's something that we've learned throughout these sessions with the intergenerational learning, is that everyone is valued and we must maintain that. And that's why we've taken that route within the UK. And I didn't know whether that would be helpful to other federations that are on today.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jo. All right, Raisa. You're muted. Just unmute, please.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Oh, yes, Kisa. Oh.
We can hear you, Raisa.
Can you hear me? No.
Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. This is Raisa from Cotonou. I wish you all a happy new year, and thank you for being back with the webinars. Thank you very much, Dawne, for your presentation. I just have one question. When in a situation you are a leader of an organization, and some of the members, for a reason or the other, do not react, no matter what incentive you put in, what can be done in such a situation? Since everyone has his own objective, does this make the leader a bad leader? Or to be a transformational leader, should everybody in the group adhere to your politics? Please, can you kindly answer this question for me? I hope I am heard.
Yes, I've heard you, Raisa. No.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I lost my, okay.
Yeah. Risa, as a leader, one of the things you must do, and we spoke about that earlier, is build relationships with every member in your team. So if you're going in one direction and members of your team aren't going with you, you need to understand why. Because sometimes as a leader, we think we are doing the right thing when we aren't. So we need to listen to our team members. Because if we are going in one direction and they aren't coming with us, it's because they don't want to go where we are going. Sometimes we aren't going in the right direction either, right? And that's what Diana spoke to earlier. Sometimes we are strong leaders, but we are not strong leaders for positive change. We are strong leaders for negative change. We are strong leaders for divisiveness. We are strong leaders for many other reasons except the actual purpose for which we should lead. So when we have people within our team that's not serving the same purpose, we need to find out. We need to understand. So there's a time when we get together, understand why are we heading in different directions, bring everybody back to the purpose, including us as leaders. Sometimes even we as leaders don't understand our purpose.
Of course.
And so that is why we have so much confusion within our teams. So it's very important to keep coming back to that mission and that vision, because therein lies the purpose.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Risa, and thank you, Dawne.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we don't have anybody else in the queue at the moment, which means I'm going to start inviting people to speak. So let's see. Sylvia, are you with us? She doesn't have her video on, so she may not be at screen at the moment. Sylvia?
Oh, yes,
great.
Oh, yes, I am. I haven't missed a word. And I've not commented because I wouldn't disagree with a word of Dawn's script. But I just add a couple of things, if you like me to. Remember, I think too, I've always felt that I remembered that when you might be a leader of a team, and I've led a lot of different size teams in my life, that you're not only the leader, but you're a member of that team. And so that you are there with them, with the people you're leading. And I was always recognize that if somebody showed an initiative and it was something that was a good initiative, it didn't need you to as the leader to provide all the initiatives. You would encourage that initiative because that's the way that they grow and develop. And the other thing is that as a leader too, is knowing how to deal with those awkward moments. When there's you're going to be inspirational and to lead, but there are some times when you have to help people recognize difficulties, and that's quite a skill as well.
Okay, thank you, past International President Sylvia Perry. And our speaker in March, by the way, so be sure to join us again then. All right, I might also mention, as I said earlier, we are all works in progress, of course. This is an ideal model. There are other models of leadership, many actually, but this is an ideal, not the only ideal model. And that maybe to continually assess whether we are being transformational leaders, because every now and again, even if we have our best intentions, we might be taking the reins a little too tightly, or wanting to be just a little bit too much in charge, or not being as supportive of encouraging of the rest of the team as we can be. So continual or regular reassessment of our own position as a transformational leader might also be helpful. Let's see, Susan Jones, are you with us still? It's very, very late in her world in Australia. Susan?
Yes, and I'm here, although, yes, close to midnight here. First of all, I'd just like to wish everyone a very, very happy and successful 2022 from me here in Australia. Dawne, all I can say really is that it was an amazing presentation, and that those that know you know that you walk the talk. And I can see you in this presentation. I remind myself always that the word team doesn't have an I in it. And I've heard team being mentioned dozens of times tonight. But thank you again, Dawne. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Yasmin, for organising this. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm only disappointed that it doesn't get out to more people, because this is the kind of presentation that BPW as a whole needs to see. So well done, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, our immediate past Vice President of Membership at the international level. Just another reminder, we always have 20 to 30 to 50 in every room each month, but we also have this then in the next 24 hours available online. And we ask you all to share it with your clubs and your federations and everyone else you know in BPW, so that it's actually open to everyone in that way. Nilima, are you still with us tonight? Tonight in your world, I know.
Yeah, I'm still here listening to you.
Transformational Leadership. Nilima is our speaker next month, by the way, so be sure to join that. Would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Anne, and thank you, Yashman. It's wonderful to see all the familiar faces after like really long time. And the thing I remember about Dawne is like every time she was in the executive meeting, I would love to hear her speak. You know, it's like when she speaks, it's like there's so much more to learn from her. And it's been like, when I look at a lot of women that I look up to, like kind of a person that I want to be, I think, Dawne, you are one of the person who never took any sides. You stood and you stood for what is right, and that's what inspired me as well. So when we are talking about transformational leadership, one thing I've been really confused for a really long time is that, you know, whether it is in BPW or it is in other organization or in the national form, you know, whenever we have people who are trying to bring that transformation in the society or the clubs and everything, we see that those people don't have much voice as much as those people who actually are not ready for any change. So how do you think that, you know, young people like me, I'm not young anymore, but still we have a lot of young in the floor. So how do you suggest that we need to move forward, keeping that, you know, idea in our minds and not just losing our track? Your suggestion, please. Anyone?
Yeah. Nilima, I think I have been just as inspired by you as you've been by me. I miss you so much and hope to see you back in action soon. But totally agree with you. There are leaders who block transformational leaders. And I think you have been victim of such blockage. But the thing about transformational leaders, they will always find their way through, because they work on values and principles. So what I would say to you is continue to do what you do. Sometimes you have to move away from your situation, move away from that environment, and begin to thrive and grow in a new plant yourself somewhere else where you can thrive and grow, and then work around and get back to where you need to be. But I can tell you, people like you, we need many more people like you in the world, and you are still very young. So I know that you will get to that place where we need you to be eventually. But sometimes, you know, there are roadblocks, sometimes there are crossroads. Transformational leaders always know which is the right path to take to get back on track. So you are so correct. We have too many leaders who are blockages, and because they're at the top, there's nothing that we can do. but we have to find ways. And I personally, I feel one of the best ways to ensure that we have the right leaders is get that written in the script of our governance, whatever the organization is.
Thanks, Dawn. And I want to just add that transformational leadership isn't necessarily about transforming the organization. Many of us might have those goals too, and that is difficult if you're not in a high position of leadership, but about transforming or allowing or helping to transform the team that you're working with. So to the best of our ability. Yes, everyone, she's young and she'll be speaking on intergenerational leadership next month, but she's not young BPW anymore. She's aged out of that. I'm teasing. We've worked a lot on a lot of projects together. Yasmin, you've got your hand up, so we'll turn to you again.
Thank you. Dawn, I would like to ask you, in your experience in different boards, what you can do when in fact is in the governance, this role of each member of the board, but it was not accomplished. What you can do when the leader feels they own the organization.
Oh, Yasmin, I don't know where to start because I have experienced that and I have not been able to break it. Life is not always easy. And as Anne says, transformational leadership, sometimes you have to transform yourself. You know, it's not all about being just that transformational leader, but being that transformational person. Now, I don't even know where to start because this question is a very difficult question because I myself have been in positions where we have leaders that just don't follow any rules. But in that circumstance, there must be some way out. There must be some way to deal with those who don't follow the rules, and they should no longer be a part of the organization. And that is where that is my opinion on that. No organization there should always be a higher authority than the leader. And there should be governance in place to say, if these things don't work, then the leader must go. And I think that is where, you know, how we will address situations such as that. And I'll defer to people like Sylvia Perry, etc., who has much more experience than I do in this type of leadership.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks, Yasmin. Dawn, we have a question directed to you from our chat. Joey in Singapore says, may I ask how to ensure, I'm reading this in order to get it in our recording. May I ask how to ensure continuous motivation of your staff to deliver and be engaged, by extension to your club or your federation, I would assume. As transformational leaders, when should we let go and not, quote unquote, breathe down the neck too much?
Yeah, okay, well, transformational leadership, as I said, and as Sylvia said, it's not about just to the leader, it's a team. It's a team effort. So in transformational leadership, you don't ever breathe down the neck. In transformational leadership, you work together as a team. So if there are team members who you realize aren't emotionally connected for whatever reason, you need to reach out. That's what we keep saying. You need to reach out to each member of your team. Or there are times when people are very highly connected and for some reason they just become disconnected. Something has happened. So transformational leadership is about connections, about emotions, about reaching out and not allowing things to go so far that it breaks down. because it's not about you, the leader, breathing down. It is about you, the leader, motivating and inspiring the team to work together. And that will be my response to that question.
Thank you, Dwayne. So it's about the connection, which is important, the relationship.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
the relationship. It's about building relationships and keeping those relationships and understanding when the relationships start to deteriorate and asking the right questions. It's not about breathing down at all. Transformational leaders are a part of what the team. They don't stand apart from the team. They are a part of the team, inspiring and motivating the team and working together with the team. And as Sylvia said, there are times when they have the ideas, let it be theirs. Don't take it and run with it. You allow their creative juices to flow and be a part of what they do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joey. Sylvia, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, well, I wanted to pick up on the point about when a leader moves on, because I think I can demonstrate that a little bit there. It's very difficult. I think everybody, and Yasmin will bear this out as well, everybody when they come to the end of their term, you've had such a highlight in your life to be in that position where you've had that leadership role in BPW, that knowing how to step down graciously but also usefully is another skill that you need to, it's another transition, isn't it, Dawne, in effect? You've done that when you've stepped down from roles and so on. So the big thing is there, to be available, I think, and to not only have the experiences that you've had in your life, but you've had them, what you've gained from other people. I think I've learned so much from some of the very inspirational people I knew when I first joined BPW, but to have that as a reservoir, that to not say to people who've taken over or anything, to say, this is how you should do it, in effect, but be there ready to give that advice if it's needed. And I think that's sometimes a bit of a difficult thing to do, because you've been at such a high level, but then you immediately, as people say, you're out, but you're not, because you're there still to be that reservoir of advice if it's asked for.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. We will have to close the meeting in the next minute, in part because we keep to our time because we are all busy women, and in part because our speaker herself has another meeting now. So Yasmin, I'll give you the floor for 1 minute for closing remarks, and then I will wrap up after that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dawne, and thank you all the participants today. As you know, we try since more than, I think, 2 years to give it something to the members. Sometimes we don't have a full room because the members knows that they can have the video later. And I know that many clubs share in their meetings with the members these webinars. And this is something that I feel proud, and I always express my gratitude to Anne to be on this project since many years, doing 90% of the work of these webinars, to be honest. And I think because since I've been president, what I feel is that the members need and deserve more information, more tools to improve their leadership. And that is why we have these webinars. Today is a very special day. It's the number 50 webinar. So I'm very proud of this. It was not easy, but thanks to all the speakers and the participants, and as I said, thanks to Anne, it was possible to do it. So thank you very much. In our 50th anniversary, Dawne, it's great to have you here. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And just to finally wrap up. So again, the video will be available within the next 24 hours on our YouTube channel. It will be announced on our Facebook page. This is, of course, as Yasmin just said, the 50th, and we hope for 50 more. We've been doing this now since June of 2019. We have actually the rest of this year already planned. So hope to see you again month after month, and please share the video with everyone you know. Bye for now.